Do you pay tax to the entire income you receive, or do we have option to reduce our income so we can pay less tax? The short and simple answer is yes. Before we go any further, don't forget to subscribe to this channel to stay tuned with upcoming videos. Additionally, you can watch the entire series on all about tax on the I button here. Alright, let's get going. Firstly, we need to understand the difference between gross income and taxable income. Gross income is the income which you receive on the entire income sources you have. If you haven't watched the video on different types of income sources for an individual, you can find it on the I button here. This is the income which you have received without paying any tax. Taxable income, as the name suggests, is the income which you have after deducting all your exemption and deductions. Now you will be wondering what is this exemption and deductions. We'll be talking about that in the next part of this video. In simple words, tax exemption means you don't have to pay tax on certain components of your income. For example, HRA, children allowance, LTA, food coupons all come under this category. Through these various ways, you can reduce your total taxable income or your tax liability. There are certain ways which you have to do in order to reduce your taxable income. This is tax deduction and it is specified in section 80 of the Income Tax Act. Some examples of tax deductions are home loans, health insurance, education loan, etc. You can watch about tax deductions in detail in the I button here. By putting your money in all these specified areas, you can actually reduce your tax liability up to a greater extent. Apart from these two, you need to understand what is tax rebate. Tax rebate is a final reduction in your taxable income. It's kind of a bargain on your taxable income. According to section 87A of Income Tax Act, tax rebate is the final reduction in your tax liability and you can avail a tax liability of 12,500 rupees. The purpose of rebate is to reduce the taxpayer's burden in the middle class and the lower income class people. If your income falls below 5 lakh, according to section 87A, a tax rebate of 12,500 is adjusted and thus you don't have to pay any tax. And here comes the bonus. All salaried people and middle class people can get a standard deduction. This was presented in budget 2008 with an amount of 40,000 and this is revised to 50,000 in interim budget 2019. This means a standard deduction of 50,000 is applied to your income irrespective of your income range. Now let's see how the flow goes for tax deduction. A standard deduction of 50,000 is applied to your gross income, tax exemption is applied, tax deduction is applied, and if your taxable income falls below 5 lakh, a tax rebate is applied where 12,500 is waived off, thus you don't have to pay any tax. Let's understand this further with an example. Suppose your gross income is 8 lakhs per annum. You will get a standard deduction of 50,000. Suppose you have a tax exemption of 1.5 lakh and a tax deduction of 1.5 lakh. Let's calculate your taxable income. Your gross income of 8 lakhs minus 50,000 of standard deduction minus 1.5 lakh of tax exemption minus 1.5 lakh of tax deduction, which comes around to 4.5 lakh of your taxable income, which means according to tax rebate, it falls below the 5 lakh limit, thus you don't have to pay any tax. But you need to remember, in order to avail this rebate, exemption and deduction, you need to file your income tax returns. Let's understand this with another example. Let's take the same example as above. Your gross income is 8 lakhs. With that, you will get a standard deduction of 50,000 and you have a tax exemption of 1.5 lakh. And in this case, you don't have any investments in your portfolio, thus you don't have any tax deduction to take into account. Thus, your taxable income will be 8 lakhs minus 50,000 standard deduction and 1.5 lakh of tax exemption, which comes around to 6 lakhs. 6 lakhs is above the 5 lakh limit of tax rebate, thus you have to pay your income tax. Now, how do you calculate your tax for the 6 lakh? You can watch the video in the I button here. Hope you found this video useful. Give a like if you like this video and share it with your friends who would like to hear more about tax exemption and tax reduction. I'll catch you up next time. Have a good day.